Hello. For this dismantling assignment, I decided to watch the movie The Accountant. The Accountant is about a man named Christian Wolf who has a high-functioning form of autism. The movie goes back and forth from when he was a child to present day, where he is a forensic accountant for criminal organizations. In the movie, he ends up taking a normal job that ends up getting him and a coworker targeted, so he has to use his unique intellect and combat skills that he happens to have from when he was a kid to protect them, which essentially makes him a anti-hero. So I actually felt like the movie accurately depicted common characteristics of autism. There's a portion of the movie where they talk about stimming or self-stimulatory behavior. The neurologist in the movie comparison of Chris rocking to a neurotypical person biting their nails or grinding their teeth. I feel helps to normalize this behavior for the audience, showing it as a coping mechanism rather than what could be seen to people as a strange tic. At one point in the movie, Chris also says, "I have difficulty socializing with other people even though I want to," and I really felt like this was a powerful line. It directly challenges the stereotype of people with autism as being cold or uninterested in human connection. The film shows that the desire for connection is there in Chris, but the ability to execute is a challenge for him, which I feel like is a nuanced and often overlooked aspect of autism disorder. So the movie leans heavily on the trope of the autistic savant with a photographic memory. While some individuals with autism have exceptional abilities, the portrayal of Chris's abilities in this movie fits into the wholly innocent construction that was discussed by Block. It suggests that a person with a disability must have a special, almost magical power in order to be considered valuable or worthy of respect, which can be an unrealistic and limiting stereotype. So in the film, Chris is the ultimate super crip, which is a term criticized by Hayes and Black. He is not just a person with autism. He happens to be a brilliant accountant, great at fighting, and happens to be a sharpshooter. The movie focuses on his extraordinary abilities, which, while entertaining, and it really was, it reinforces the idea that for a person with a disability to be respected, they must overcome their condition and perform extraordinary tasks rather than simply being accepted for who they are. The Accountant also introduces Longmore's disability as malevolent stereotype. In the movie, Chris's father quotes, "You're different," and sooner or later, different scares people, which foreshadows how Chris's difference is eventually channeled into violence as an adult. The film's plot, where his unique abilities are used for killing and criminal activity, could be seen as a modern take on the disabled villain seeking revenge as described by Longmore. Chris's father also has an initial view of his sensitivity as a problem, which reflects the sickness to be cured construction noted by Block. The neurologist in the film has a response to Chris's mother when discussing his diagnosis, when she asks if he'll ever have a normal life, and he says, "Define normal," which challenges this view and encourages the family to shift their perspective. The movie shows a conflict between the desire to fix Chris and the acceptance that he is simply different, which is a key message in the disability rights movement. There is another character that plays a pretty big role in the film named Justine. She is introduced at the beginning of the film as a child, and then towards the end of the film, she's a nonverbal patient who communicates through a computer, which is a powerful counterpart to the super crip narrative. Her character challenges the assumption that nonverbal communication equates to low intelligence. and there's a big reveal at the end of the movie that she is Chris's intelligent and resourceful source, which can be a validating moment for nonverbal individuals and their families, showcasing intelligence and agency outside of typical communication methods. And also, about halfway through the film, the character Dana says, "I was trying to belong, I was trying to connect. I think no matter how different we are, we're all trying to do the same thing," when she's referring to a overpriced dress that she bought in high school for the prom. And this serves as a central message for the film. It encourages the audience to look beyond the surface differences and recognize the shared human desire for connection and belonging. This message directly counters the other or limited person construction described by Block by emphasizing a shared humanity. So before this assignment, I would have viewed a movie like The Accountant as just an action movie and therefore probably not have watched it. However, by using the critical frameworks from Hayes and Black, Longmore, and Block, I realized how deeply ingrained these stereotypes are even in modern cinema. My assumptions about what constitutes a hero were challenged, and I had to analyze if Chris's heroism was tied to his super crip status rather than his character. So as a future educator, this assignment has taught me the importance of media literacy and critically examining the messages we and our students receive. I now have a deeper understanding that disability is not just a medical condition, but a social and political identity. I have learned to be more inclined when it comes to using first language and challenge my students to think critically about how different groups are portrayed in media. Thank you.